Now, the Health Secretary is refusing to rule out making child vaccinations compulsory in order to prevent the risk of diseases like measles. Matt Hancock says that he's ready to consider all options to combat the spike in cases that are linked to fears over the safety of the MMR vaccine. Well, will such a strict measure work? We're joined now by the writer and broadcaster Lottie Daley, who opposes mandatory vaccinations. Welcome to you, Lottie. I'm just trying to understand, what is it that you oppose? Is it some vaccinations, or is it just being told what to do?
Hi, first of all I want to say that obviously vaccines do work and they do save lives, so I'm not opposed to vaccination per se. What I am opposed to is the mandatory vaccination idea. What we know is that there is risk associated with vaccines across the board. There are, and the reason mothers are not vaccinating and parents are not vaccinating is not because of groups like Arnica, it's because there are injuries that do occur, and the government recognises this, and that's why there's a vaccine compensation fund. I think if there is a risk, then we shouldn't be forcing it to happen. I don't think it's right.
But the attitude coming from not just government, but the World Health Organization, is that the benefits of having people in society vaccinated far, far outweigh any risk. And if you want to live in a functioning and successful society, and you want your child to go to school or to go to hospitals, you need to have those vaccinations.
I don't agree with you on that one. I think that the cases that I've looked at from the Freedom of Information Act on the government show that actually measles does not kill in this country. It just doesn't, the statistics just don't bear out. And unfortunately, if you're going to mandate a vaccination programme for every single child without a robust, fit-for-purpose government protection fund for the children that do get harmed, because it does happen, then I think it's a really, really bad idea.
But measles is a very serious disease with very serious consequences.
It can be,
not
absolutely.
just at the time, but also longer term consequences as well, and it has killed people over decades, hasn't it?
I'm not disputing that vaccines work. I'm not disputing that for the vast majority, vaccination is a brilliant thing. You know, it saves lives. It's great for the majority of people. I could liken it to, for example, if you were to have a car seat, everybody knows they've got to have a car seat in their car, but imagine if there was a batch of car seats that were defective. We don't know which ones, and out of those defective car seats, some are in an accident, and out of those accidents, some are injured and some are killed. That's kind of what it's like for vaccines, and then you can't actually hold anybody accountable for them, and that's the problem.
Lottie, do you have a child?
Yes, I've got 3 children.
And have they had the MMR?
No.
No, okay. So tell us why. What's your response then to the Health Secretary, who says that he's not going to rule out compulsory vaccination? So your children would have to have those vaccines. How do you respond to that?
I'm not anti-vaccine, as I've said before, but my daughter did have an adverse reaction to her first amount of vaccines, and for that reason, until I feel satisfied that there would be support for me if a vaccine damage was to occur, I won't be going ahead. At the moment, I'm looking into single vaccines for my youngest daughter and my middle daughter. I don't think we should mandate them without a robust safety net in place for children who are damaged. And the thing is, we don't know which ones are going to be. Just like I said with the car seat analogy, you know, we don't know which one there is. And the issue is, would you have a car seat that was in an accident that killed your child, for which you couldn't hold that maker responsible? If the government wants to give confidence to mothers, we need to have choice of single vaccines, and we need to have a robust, fit for purpose.
So, I think the compensation point is an important one. We don't have time to really explore it further now. But what I want to know is if it was compulsory and you said, actually, you know what, my kid, I'm not going to vaccinate them, and the sanction was, well, then you can't send them to school, you can't avail yourself of public services like hospitals, what would your response be to that?
I would first of all refer people to the UNICEF's Guide for Human Rights for Children, and that's not to deny deny them of an education. I would look into the Nuremberg Code, which says you're not supposed to administer mass medication to anybody without their explicit consent. It goes against so many of our human rights. And not only that, if you have an infection, if you don't have an infection, you can't pass it on. It's far more likely that a live attenuated virus, which is found in the MMR, for example, it sheds for 30 days. That's what you need to watch out for, not a child without an infection. I think we're moving into dangerous territory here, and I think if the government wants the confidence to increase for mothers, we need to have more options and a robust safety fund. We don't have that there right now.
OK, well, we can put those very points to the Health Secretary, who is joining us now. Lottie Daley, thank you very much indeed. The Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, is joining us live now from the Welsh Conservatives Conference in North Wales. Welcome to you, Mr Hancock. I don't know if you could hear what our guest was saying there, but she's basically saying the choice of whether or not to give an MMR to her child is hers and hers only. What do you say to that?
Well, the science of vaccination is settled and very, very clear, which is that vaccination is the right thing for not only for your own children, but also for other people who, for medical reasons, may not be able to get vaccinated.